But Sanjin Pehlivanovic showed at the World Cup that he is a worthy opponent. Thoughts, Cole?
Well, my thoughts are, I like this little bit of music they're playing on the lag shot, Phil. Adds more drama to the
Melling
game.
wins the leg.
Sounds a little like something you might see in a Jaws movie. Well, I think we're going to be talking about the Jaws on this table quite a lot this week. Jaws 2, and they'll be hitting both of them. Chris Melling, though, knows that this lad can play the game. He will be giving this his full attention. He's such a wonderful cueist. If it was all about that, you could put him in the next round now, but it isn't.
Yeah, his opponent, Sanjin. I remember about 10 years ago or so, we was playing a tournament in Sarajevo, and this young 7, 8, 9 years old young boy with long blonde hair was on the pool tables potting all the balls. He was tremendous talent, and well, now he's a grown man. This is just the start you would like in any match, just a shot at an open ball.
I thought you made a really good point in the last match, Carl, that this table is just a tad slower than we had in Milton Keynes for the World Cup, and I think that makes life a lot easier. At times that was almost unmanageable, particularly off the cushions. If Chris Melling gets on a roll on this kind of surface, he could be unplayable.
This is the type of shot that you just need to take a little bit more care over. Likes to get on with it, does Chris, doesn't hang around. Plays on instinct.
Melling wins the first round.
And in the blink of an eye, it is 1-0. Chris Melling unveiling his skills there. Sanjin Pehlivanovic, who was saying about the fact he has been playing this game for quite some time, even though he's still very youthful. It was a great story he told at the World Cup recently, where when he was 11 years old, he and a friend almost qualified to play in the World Cup. They lost in the qualifying tournament final. Can you imagine that, an 11-year-old playing in the main tournament? That would have been something else.
Yeah, it's a shame that didn't happen. That would have been a fantastic story. But the good news is, well, he's made his way to the Masters event, and he will know Chris Melling. He knows he's got a tough match on his hand. 42 years of age, been to the semi-finals of this event. That's his best effort so far, but he's up for this one. He will like the fact that we are trying out a little bit of a tighter table.
Chris Melling is leading by 1-0 and vote break.
Let's see whether the break works here. Comes up dry.
Yeah, and so far in the matches we've seen tonight, the break's been pretty easy. The wing ball's been flying in, but that time it didn't. And I don't think Sanjin can pot this one ball, so I'm going to be looking for a safety. Can he chop it in? Does it pass the 6? Well, he's had a go, but he's missed it. Never easy when it's so close together. Plus he was playing that shot with a little bit of spin. Yeah, he might just go rail first. That just giving the angle to go over. It's not come out too kind. You never quite know when you're going into the ball like that. Got a good chance of a safety shot here though.
Well, he didn't achieve the hook. Wanted to get the cue ball ideally in behind the 6. But the main priority was not to leave the 2.
Extension called.
Yeah, he was trying to get the cue ball onto that left side rail. So he's misjudged that, but I think the 9 balls come as a blocker, so Chris can't see the edge of this 2, but he's still having a look. Yeah, that wasn't easy.
Anytime you leave the ball on close to a pocket, it's always a risk. But again, as with the shot before, the 9 is in the way. Although, coming off the cushion here first is plausible.
Speed of this shot is going to be everything, and he's misjudged it, so it's a worrying start for the young man.
Yeah, the 2 almost went in, Carl, but had it done so, look at the position of the cue ball. He would have been stymied on the 3 anyway.
You can use any. You can use any.
Well, Chris was going to go for the rest on the opposite side of the table because of the World Cup of Pool. You know, we was allocated our own bridge because of COVID. But Marcel just said you can use any rest, so that's not a problem.
Even the most incremental of relaxations of COVID-19 protocols are always a good sign. Don't you just love that cue action, Carl? It's silky, it's smooth, he pauses at the back. To be honest, it's always a major shock to me when he misses one.
Yeah, he has a very long bridge hand. That's when your hand is on the table and the distance between your hand and the cue ball.
Melling went to second.
So
right.
2 handy racks from Chris Melling. He's off to a flyer. This tournament has been running for many years now, and it's not always been a 24-player event, but it It has been for the last couple of editions. What you see here, 16 non-seeded players in the first round. 8 go through to play the 8 seeds. The last 16 starts here tomorrow. It's winner breaks, and the one ball is hand-racked on the spot. It's a 30-second shot clock with 1 30-second extension per rack. All matches are the sprint distance, up to 7, and then for the final 9. But the point of discussion all week in commentary and amongst the players in the practice room, I've heard them already. The corner pocket's 4 inches, the middle's 5. That is very tight, Col.
Yeah, and it's when you're down on the shot, it looks a lot scarier than what it usually does.
So Chris Melling, he's trying to become the first British winner of this event since Darren Appleton in 2009.
Nice break off there from Chris. So the blue 2 doesn't pass the 8 ball, so he's either going to have to take on a very difficult combo. Not only is that difficult to pot, 2 ball is kind of running away from him, so it's not going to be easy to then land back on the 2.
Now that's what you call working out a treat.
Well, he's definitely not hanging around. He must have a place to go, Phil.
Well, the lengthiest thing about these racks has been his pause on the backswing. Chris Melling is known as the Magician, and here, casting his spell early, he leads by 3 racks to 0, and all 3 racks have been a showcase for his excellence. that is the scene here in gorgeous Gibraltar. It really is a wonderful place, this. We're right on the southern tip of this peninsula at the Europa Point Sports Complex. Earlier on today I was watching some rugby here on the artificial pitch. Indoors, it is the Dapperbet Whirlpool Masters. 2 matches in the books already. Justin Sage from Australia and Eklund Kaci from Albania are already through to the last 16. Chris Melling has made a really good start against Sanjin Pehlivanovic. Our nightcap features a couple of Americans. Good friends, apart from when they meet head-to-head a little later. Billy Thorpe and Skylar Woodward.
The 4th rec. Chris Melling to break, leading by 3 recs to 0.
I'm sure Billy and Skylar are on the practice table upstairs, giving each other a little bit of stick. Who will take the bragging rights in the last match of the evening? Talking about bragging rights, Phil. Yesterday, Jason and Chris, they went to the local snooker club, and, well, Jason gave Chris a little bit of a beating there. Chris was not a happy man.
Off levels, was it?
It was off levels. And then last night, he tried to take me on at darts, Phil. But at least his pool is going well this week. So is he going to play the bank shot? He is playing the bank shot. His nickname is the shot maker. And that was a nice shot.
Well, this is going in only one direction, and when Melling is at the table potting balls, the only time you expect him to leave is when the referee is re-racking them. Look at the extreme spin on that. Confined to his chair, Cole.
Yeah, if you cast your mind back to that 2 ball where Chris was playing a safety shot and Sanjin made a bit of a mess of it, and, you know, winner breaks can be brutal out there.
Extension, please.
Well, didn't want to take his extension there, but the technical malfunction with the extension of a different kind forced him into it.
There won't be better players on the circuit with the rest than Chris Melling. A few years ago he was on the World Professional Snooker Tour.
Yeah, I think the rest supplied for this event, though, is very different from the rests they play with there. I think he would prefer the old simple X. Well, this is X-rated for anyone who's supporting Pehlivanovic.
Chris Melling.
Well, how about this? Not just 4-0 ahead, but in total control of the match and of his own game. Chris Melling, when he plays his best, he can be dynamite, and we're seeing Melling at his best so far this evening.
Yes, I'm delighted to say Eklund Kaci joins me. Eklund, a very impressive performance. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I mean, I played quite good. Made a couple of misses, but the pockets are really small and tight. So if you see them closer and you play on it, you're going to find out. But, I mean, yeah, I got a couple of good rolls as well. Broke them good. And Yeah, overall good.
Yeah, how else did the table play for you?
It was really tight, like I said. There's very small pockets. When I missed the long one, whoever seeded it, I couldn't believe it. I missed it. It's just I shoot it straight, but just the pocket's too small.
Small pockets, but we are at the Masters. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to hit it good to make it.
Yeah. Naoki Oi in the next round for you. You looking forward to that match?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who I'm playing. Just focus on my game, trying to play my best, and let's see how it goes.
How did you analyse your performance? Do you think you could even be better going forward?
Yeah, of course. I could have played a little bit better, not making some mistakes I did, or like missing the 3-ball on the last track. And I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to play better.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing more of you too. Eklund, if you stay with me after this rack as well, we'll talk more about your tournament so far, but let's just go back to the match now.
As he showed there, Eklund Kachi is a really cool customer. The psychology of pool is very interesting, you know. He talked about the mistakes he made. He didn't mention that one ball he knocked in, which for me was perhaps the shot of the session so far.
Well, Chris thought that was a scratch for 1 minute, didn't he? You could see he held his hand up, but luckily for Chris, it's a 4-inch pocket.
Yeah, that's the advantage of these tighter pockets. At least it's more difficult for the white to go into them.
Yeah, this match has got a little bit of a feeling of the previous match, where everything was just going swimmingly for Eklund Kachi. It'd just be nice to just have a little look at Sanjin on the pool table. Some kind of open shot. Well, I don't think he's played this, Phil. He's been very fortunate. The 8-ball has come and hooked young Sanjin.
Theoretically speaking, he could have laid an evil snooker in behind the brown 7, but of course that would have risked drawing back into a scratch. So that would have been very low percentage, even though it would have been defensive.
Yeah, he's trying to hit this 1-ball full and try and get the 1-ball on the bottom rail. Well, he's hit it hard and just hoped something good happens, and it's not bad, but Chris, he's a very attacking player. He's a showman on the pool table. He likes to play up to the crowd.
Yeah, he's a popular player. And a lot of people will be looking forward to, if Melling goes through, to his next match. Scheduled to play Joshua Filler in the last 16 tomorrow.
Please.
Yeah, that would be a tasty match, wouldn't it? I'm sure the pool fans around the world are hoping that happens, and at the minute at 4-0. Well, he's played safety and he's under it that by quite a way. Now this is a thin pot if he attempts it, but he does have young guys.
Oh dear me.
Yeah, it was a very risky bank shot. He's just trying to make something happen, but you've got to try and stay patient. Don't just give your opponent easy racks. That little flick. It's just helped Chris a little bit. Not sure if the red 3 passes that brown 7. If it doesn't, he's got to play this with a lot of spin to get the cue ball out. I'd love the cue ball to roll another few more inches. He might be trying to pot this in the top right and also pot the brown 7 because of the natural path the cue ball's going. Well, he's missed the 3, but he's potted the 7 ball. Has he landed on this? He has. So
he has, Carl. That's the thing. He's playing wonderful pool, and he's also having the rubs.
Yeah, that's nicely done. He's landed on the rail, so he's got an angle to get out for the green 6. Didn't see that one coming. One of the best potters on the circuit, but he has missed it, and it gives Sanjin a nice little look at the table now, so we can try and assess his game, because we've not seen many shots from him. Yeah, Chris just overspun the cue ball then.
Well, that was almost anywhere but there.
Yeah, there's just the smallest of gaps, which means he can still pot this in the right centre. If the cue ball had rolled on a little bit more, this shot wouldn't have been on. It's a little delicate one though. And he's made it, so that's job well done.
Sanjin Pehlivanovic.
You know, in these matches, we're always looking for a potential pivotal moment, the one where you look back on and say, that's where it all turned around. Could the Melling miss be precisely that? Because Pehlivanovic is on the scoreboard.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm with Eklund Kachi again, who beat Petri Mäkinen earlier. You're going to stay around, enjoying watching the games, knowing that you're through?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun watching the games after we've done the hard works, and kind of seeing what's the level, if there's going to be many misses. I'm looking forward about this because, like I said before, the tight tables makes me more excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about, it's good to have fans back, isn't it? You got your entrance music as well?
Yeah, I mean, a long time we haven't really played since Mosconi Cup, and then we played the CLP tournament. And it's nice to come back in the Matchroom events, and yeah, it's always nice to have also people around.
It was a tough year, wasn't it? But we are back with a bang. Do you get that feeling?
I mean, I didn't really get it, the question.
I'm saying, like, I'm happy. Like, we are back. Matchroom Paul is back. You've got the World Cups coming soon. We've just had the World Cup. Do you feel like this sport is growing now? Because obviously the year off with the pandemic, and now we're back.
The calendar has been open, and they have showed us many tournaments to go, and I'm looking forward to and practicing and preparing also the World Championship next month.
Brilliant. You got Naoki Oitama. I'm really looking forward to that match. But let's focus on this match now. Chris Melling in action. We'll join the commentators.
It's a strange emotional dynamic for Chris Melling. He's sitting there feeling pretty bad about himself at the moment because he knows he should be 5-0 ahead. Missed a very simple ball there, and you don't want to give opponents of this quality any encouragement whatsoever.
That was a pretty tidy break shot. And I think the cue ball might have just ran and sat on that pink 4 ball. Yeah, the idea on the break shot is to try and get the cue ball to stop in the centre of the table. And if he had have done that, he would have had a shot on this 1 ball. So I'm going to mark that down, Phil, as a little bit of a poor break. That's harsh, but it is the Masters. Yeah, he's looking at kicking this just because the push out is so hard. And where the one ball is, he's got a good chance of making this. Yeah, he just hit kind of the rail first next to the one ball, which meant he didn't pot it once he left Chris.
Yeah, the double kiss nudge at the end there. That prevented the pod being on, I think. Oh no, it is on. So Melling off again.
Now he's got a nice little angle on this red 3 ball. I'm just wondering if he'll play into the gap. That looks good. Needs a little bounce. That's lovely. So he's playing a combo onto the purple 5. Now the green 6 doesn't go, but he can play a carom. Carom is when we come off a ball with the cue ball, and that pots another ball. That's why he's screwed the cue ball back out into the centre area of the table. So in 9-ball pool you can do what he's just done. As long as you're at the lowest ball first, you can pot another ball and stay at the table. Such a great potter, but needs to aim towards the far jaw on this one.
Melling a couple of pots away from making amends for his previous mistake. And that was knocked in with great authority.
Chris Melling into one.
Normal service is resumed. He had one blip, but apart from that, Chris Melling has been a potting machine in this match. He leads Sanjin Pehlivanovic by 5 racks to 1. Chris Melling knocking in that one ball, just enough room to see it. Then a series of well-executed pots, taken within 2 racks of victory. And of course he's breaking off in rack 7 momentarily. So Justin Sage and Eklund Kachi already through by a score of 7-3, both of them. Chris Melling could make very light work of Sanjin Pehlivanovic. And then to finish off this evening, Billy Thorpe against Skylar Woodward. I must say I'm really looking forward to that all-American affair.
Thank you, 7th rec. Chris Melling to break, leading by 5 recs to 1.
Looks like a dry break. Lost the cue ball a little bit as well.
Carly's played so well. If you're nitpicking, I suppose, the fact he's had 2 dry breaks and he missed an easy 5 ball. Apart from that, it's just been domination from Melling. But he will want to improve that break, there's no doubt.
Yeah, we've seen him try the break from both sides of the table. And that's worked out pretty well for Sanjin. He's got a nice angle on this blue 2. So he can come over for the red 3. This is his first real chance at the table with all the balls in open play.
Well, despite his tender years, on a questionnaire we give to all of the players, he puts down his sporting hero as Muhammad Ali. You have to say 5-1 down in a race to 7, that's on the ropes. But we know what Ali did to Foreman. Came off the ropes to win the world heavyweight title. So Sanjin Pehlivanovic hoping to do exactly the same and strike the knockout blow when it matters most.
Yeah, this is job well done so far in this rack. He's landed perfect. And now he's on the 8 ball. This will just help him settle down a little bit as well. He's had a bit of table time. You've potted a few balls. Yeah, he just got back up there because he was just double checking the angle and he still pinched a little bit. That was so he could get the cue ball away from the rail.
Well, these pockets don't take too many liberties.
Sanjin Pehlivanovic.
But the 9 is in. We just talked there about the rumble in the jungle. I suppose if he came back from 5-1 down against Chris Melling to win, that would be the shock on the rock. But do not write off that possibility. What a great scene this is. This venue, by the way, will be used next March for the Gibraltar Open World Ranking Event snooker event, and it really is a cracking facility.
Sanjin Pehlivanovic.
He's got youth on his side, Carl. Not so many battle scars as Melling, who's into his 40s.
Yeah, of course, and he's getting into these events at the right time. And Matchroom Multisport are expanding their calendar of events, which is part of the Matchroom Pool Series. So it's only going to grow, and he's at a very good age. And And he's picking up experience, of course, against
Sanjin Pehlivanovic
Chris Melling.
trailing by 5 racks to 2.
Well, it's a tough match for the young man. He's trailing 5 racks to 2 as he gets this rack underway. And this is going to work out just nice, and let's not forget it is winner breaks. Couple of break and runs will just flick the pressure back over onto your opponent. And these balls, they've come out pretty nice. It's all about trying to control the cue ball. This first shot's going to be key. Got to make sure you get down the table to leave your next shot as easy as possible. And he's done a good job there. That couldn't have landed any better.
Yeah, with the 3 and the 4 already gone, it's just a simple positional shot over to the purple 5.
Yeah, just lost the cue ball there a little bit. Didn't want to come that far to the rail. Now he might have to either just try and kill the cue ball and hold it, or he might have to play off the side rail and come back across.
Extension, please.
So that was a lack of concentration on the previous shot.
Well, he caught a lot of the jaw there, and at that pace, the brown 7 ball might well have been repelled. He will be relieved to see it drop.
Yeah, he's got to cue this one well and all. It's not really about the pot as much, it's getting this cue ball back over and making sure you don't scratch in the side. Oh, he's played it wonderful.
I think it's fair to say match back on at 5-1. Indeed, at 4-0. Chris Melling looked all over the winner, but this young man is well capable of catching Melling and eventually claiming the verdict. Took these very nicely, Cole.
Yeah, the opening shot was a beauty. Even that one. And then tricky 8 balls, you can often not cue them too good, but he passed the test and he's got to be feeling a lot better in his chair now. It's all about having some table time and potting some balls and getting a feel of the speed of the table.
Former world junior champion, 8 times European junior champion at various disciplines, and in fact he came very close to winning the European men's 8-ball championship, lost in the semi-finals of that. So he knows how to compete with the best. And Chris Melling will be feeling just a wee bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the wing ball has been pretty kind on day 1 here at the Dafabet Whirlpool Masters. I think he's actually purposely pulling the cue ball back up towards the table, Phil, because he's done it 3 times now.
Unusual to see so many balls go to this end of the table, and yet although it's congested, it's solvable.
Yeah, he does have a shot on this one ball, and All depends on whether he wants to play a combination. So the red 3 ball onto the brown 7, just thinking a few shots in front. Could possibly risk playing a little cannon, that's what he's just looked at. After potting this ball, he could just run into the 7. Got to make sure you don't slide by it though. Sometimes when you go into the balls, you're never quite certain how they're going to come out. Now he's got a tricky little shot here because I don't think he can avoid hitting that purple 5 after potting the blue 2.
Don't want to open old wounds, Carl, but this is a similar pot to one you missed in the World Cup final.
Thought we were pals, buddy.
Just thought I'd mention it. Play that with lots and lots of running side. Widen the angle. And now, I think the hard work's done.
Yeah, and that ball that he couldn't help cannoning into has come round the table and just caused him another problem because he's got hampered cueing. Turning into a big rack this now. He's battled hard to get himself back in this match, and Chris will also know this as well. They do say it's a battle between the ears. You know, it's a mental game, and 1 minute you're leading a big match and you feel like everything's going your way, and then just one little thing can just turn it on its head. But he's showed a lot of character here so far as Sanjin. Never give up.
And that's the most glorious aspect about the winner breaks format. It facilitates possible comebacks. And there's one going on right now because, having been 5-1 down, Sanjin Pehlivanovic trails only 5-4.
You've got a sprint break, but there's no time.
the sizable pool community in Bosnia and Herzegovina will be watching this match with great interest. Sanjin Pehlivanovic was 5-1 down at his lowest ebb. Now though, after potting that 9-ball, just a little bit nervily I thought, he trails only 5-4 against Chris Melling, who took the first 4 racks and looked $1 million. One more match in this first round to come this evening, and it is Billy Thorpe against Skylar Woodward. Normally teammates, either for the USA in the World Cup or the Mosconi Cup.
Rack 10. Sanjin Pehlivanovic to break. Currently trailing by 5 racks to 4.
Very intrigued to see if he does that break again. He's kind of slowly pulling the cue ball back up towards the top rail. Oh, he needs to avoid the scratch. Yeah, luckily it wasn't going near the pocket. Whenever you're sat in your chair and your opponent's breaking, so Chris will have been ball watching, just seeing where the balls come out. And now where I'm sat in the com box, the 1 ball does pass the red 3 and the brown 7, but I think it's way too thin. But he's looking at something.
Well, you're right, Carl. That shot was just about feasible, but was it advisable? It really was. Razor thin, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you could see the heartache on his face because he's left Chris the gap.
And using all of the pocket there, hitting it quite full, enabled Melling to hold the cue ball. Came off that left-hand jaw. Carl, if this was earlier in the match, I think this would be a given. But now there's mounting pressure.
Yeah, just looking at these balls, it's all going to be about how he gets on the 8 ball, because from the 8 to the 9 is where it can usually go wrong. That wasn't his best positional shot. He under it that, so now he's got to draw the cue ball back. Yeah, and he's cued that nice. Well, he's cued it very nice. I think he's landed absolutely perfect. Yeah, and he gets down very fast, so that tells you. And now he's perfect on this 9, and he'll be glad to see the back of this one.
Chris Melling wins the rack.
Indeed, he will. The Yorkshireman regains some breathing space at 6-4. It was all about the shot choice for me. Potting the 1 so thin for Pehlivanovic was asking a great deal. Through the gap between the 3-7. Was that the right shot? Well, with hindsight, you have to say no.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of inexperience there from Sanjin.
And the point is, it's not just another rack on the side of the scoreboard for Chris Melling. It's also the fact that he's wrested the break away from his opponent.
There's always been many conversations over the years, Phil, about the break format, alternate or winner breaks, and 90% of professional pool players want it to be winner breaks. There's nothing better than when you can get into a flow and start running racks on somebody, and even when you're down in a match, that gives you that ability to get back in a match and freeze your opponent into his chair.
Is it past your bedtime?
Thank you, the 11th rack. Chris Melling is leading by 6 racks to 4 on the wheel break.
That's a better break off from Chris. You could see the cue ball was controlled around the centre. It only got kicked up the table, and I think he's made 4 balls. Well, to be honest, this is the type of shot what Chris does thrive on. Does have a lot of cue power, so if he does take this on, he's got to pot it and get that cue ball moving down the table and back up. I mean, I won't be surprised if he plays a push out as well.
Extension called.
He might push it into a kind of position. It's a tricky one. It's one of them, it's how you feel at the time.
Well, he's such a good cueist, and he's such a good potter. Why doesn't he back himself? He knows he can knock this in.
You can tell by the look in his eye, he's going for this. He'll stay very still, and he's trying to pound the cue ball right back off the back rail, just like this, and this is perfect. What a shot!
Best shot of the night. What an absolute peach. Especially when you consider he has just set up the chance to win not just any old rack, but the decisive rack.
Yeah, that pot he's just played to get the cue ball back out. Well, it was shot of the match and shot of the night.
Chris Melling.
Chris Melling had a few anxious moments. He led 5-1, was pegged back to 5-4. But Sanjin Pehlivanovic missed a very thin cut on a 1 ball in the 10th rack. And after that, he did not get another shot. The Chris Melling bandwagon rolls on, and now he plays Joshua Filler in the last 16. We're really looking forward to that. He'll be delighted.